What's up, everybody? This is Fred Richani of the Sports Courier Wrestling, here to give some thoughts on Saturday night's main event that just took place on November 1st, 2025. I'm currently out and about, so I'm doing this in the studio, but hopefully comes out okay. So, man, we had a four-match card. Originally, Saturday night's main event was intended to be on NBC. It has since been moved to Peacock. They'd be still getting their money, but let's also keep it real. I kind of have a feeling that NBC Universal was not very happy with the ratings on big NBC, so hence the need to save some face and move it to Peacock. So there you go. And there was a lot of controversy in regards to this pay-per-view or this pay-per-view quality card. One, it probably could have used another match. Two, it probably could have gone on longer since, it's on Peacock. And three, it was also the fact that we had CM Punk versus Jey Uso as the main event, when a lot of people thought it should have been maybe LA Knight, Bronson Reed, or Bron Breakker in the main event against CM Punk for the vacant world title. That was, of course, vacated by Seth Rollins, who suffered an arm injury after that insane diving headbutt stop at Crown Jewel in his match with Cody Rhodes. So we had the match, though. It was actually pretty damn good, but I gotta say, it would have been nice to have somebody newer in that spot. I don't think it would have hurt. And I said people say, oh, well, if Bron Breakker loses, it's bad. Or, oh, if Bron Breakker wins going head-to-head in the World Series, that's bad too. Yes and no. But I think that they're hot enough, WWE is hot enough where they could take some risks, and they just kind of chose not to. Also, there was a guy named John Cena back in the day who lost a few high-profile matches to Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar before he won his eventual first world title, and he was actually fine. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, Randy Orton as well. He also was in a couple world title matches back in the day before he won his first world title. So I think they were overthinking it. I get it. You want to save the crowning moment for Bron Breakker at WrestleMania or something, but listen, I think, at least for me personally, as a booker, I like to be proactive. And I think sometimes you just need to give your product a shot in the arm, kind of like New Japan Pro Wrestling back in the day. We could have waited a little bit longer to give Kazuchika Okada the IWGP title. And at the time, it was like, Okada? The guy that flopped in TNA? You're going to give him the belt? But obviously, it worked out, and he was one of the faces of the hottest period, at least in recent memory, for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Get a little windy outside here. Oof. Anyway. So we kicked things off on the show with Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. This match featured an interesting stipulation, which was if Cody Rhodes got counted out or DQ'd, he'd lose the title. And boy, Drew McIntyre did everything he could to get Cody Rhodes to lose the title via underhanded tactics. At the end, though, when the referee was distracted, Cody DDT Drew on the world title belt, hit the crossroads, got the win. Pretty damn good match. I was thoroughly entertained. I gotta say, though, how many times can you beat Drew McIntyre before people just stop caring? I think this would have been a perfect time to give the belt to Drew, have him hold on to it for a little while. Hell, even if it's a couple months, and have Cody Rhodes win it back at Royal Rumble. I think right now we are stuck in this phase with these promotions where they think long title reigns equals good. And I'm not saying it's bad to have a long title reign. I think, like in the case of Roman Reigns, even if it did get boring at times, like it was good for business for Roman Reigns to hold the title. I think it was good for business for Cody when he first won the title to hold it for a while. But you got to think about the last boom period for wrestling, right? Think about the last boom period. The last boom period had Steve Austin and The Rock. I don't think those guys held the title for more than 5-6 months at their peak. More than 5-6 months. But would you know that? No, because the storylines were so hot, because they were great characters, and because the matches were compelling. Triple H's first two title reigns, not that long at all. Which ones were considered his worst? The ones where he held on to the title forever. Shawn Michaels didn't hold the title for all that long. Bret Hart, same thing. I try to think about Mick Foley, I think his WWE title reigns combined for maybe 30-something days. Now that might be a little extreme. But I'm just saying, like, you don't necessarily need to hold the title for that long. I mean, you could have one dominant champion like a Roman Reigns or like a Ric Flair. But like in the case of Dusty Rhodes, I think combined his world title reigns were like 2 months. And again, you would never know it because Dusty Rhodes is a legend, and RIP to him, great wrestler, great performer, and he drew money. So yeah, I don't know. I think long title reigns are good, but they have to be time and place. Like Cody's first reign, I thought was fine. Roman Reigns with that last run, I thought was, unprecedented. And look, the storyline was hot, so it made sense. John Cena back in the day from like 2006 to 2007, one of the best modern day title reigns in history. Just an incredible catalog of matches and everything. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, Cody's the quarterback, but man, I don't know who they have lined up for Cody now. Unless you do Solo again, which nobody wants to see. I don't think anybody wants to see MFT or the Timu Bloodline against Cody again. And hey, nothing against Solo's group. It's just, we've been there. We've done that. I am loving the new presentation of Tamatonga with the face paint and everything, like his GOD days, but I don't know. I think he could have given it to Drew, done at least like a brief feud with Jacob Fatu, do something different, and then Cody could have regained it before WrestleMania. But hey, we shall see what happens there. As match quality goes, thumbs up for sure. We had Jade Cargill all but destroy Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany got some offense in, but Jade Cargill newly turned heel, and then destroyed Tiffany Stratton to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. She wins her first women's title, or first world women's title, and hopefully he's first of many. As y'all know, I'm a big Jade fan. I've been a big fan of her since AEW. I am of the belief that not every single person needs to be the quote-unquote best wrestler in the world. Not every single person needs to be great bell to bell. Sometimes you have a special case where the person has a great look, has that it factor, and you got to work around their weaknesses, and that's okay. Not everybody needs to go through a long match. I think, for me, I look at Lex Luger back in the day. Phenomenal example compared to Jade Cargill. I think of more recent examples like Braun Strowman, who should have been a world champion much sooner in 2020. And, for any younger fans or newer fans that may not remember, I mean, Braun Strowman was really hot in 2015, 2016, and really could have been the next major player. And he still had a great career. But man, he was a guy that to me just kind of got hamstrung and held back. And I don't know, there's always the rap of, oh, he's not a great wrestler. Like, who cares? Who cares? The fans like him. The fans react to him. He's special. Like, you don't have to have long matches. Goldberg was a huge star and didn't need to have these long, drawn-out matches and everything. So, Chyna was a phenom back in her day. So, anyway, I'm glad that Jade won. I'm really tired of this criticism of, oh, she's not, a great wrestler, and that. Look, I'm not saying that she needs to beat every single person and hold on to the title for 3 years, right? I'm not saying that when push comes to shove, if you have the opportunity to further elevate Stephanie Vicaire or Rhea Ripley, who's already a big star, or, reheat Bianca Belair or Io Sky or whomever. Like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you can't do that. You can't push them to the moon or Julia, but listen, Jade's an attraction. Let's keep it real. A lot of the men and women on this existing WWE main roster are not getting any younger. And you got to strike the iron while it's hot. And you can make the argument Jade should have won the title months ago. So I'm happy she did. Glad she's holding on to it for now. I would personally hold off on having Jade lose the title until maybe WrestleMania and do that Bianca versus Jade match. And I think it'd be a hell of a match. So we shall see. Congrats to Jade. We then had Dominik Mysterio take on Rusev and Penta. I'm glad that Dominik Mysterio got the win here because he is so over, especially in Mexico. This guy as the mega champion for AAA has been doing a phenomenal job. This guy's got main eventer written all over him. I'm not really feeling the neck tattoo, but then again, I am a bit older than Dominik, so perhaps, just not my cup of tea. But then again, when I saw Cody Rhodes with that neck tattoo years ago, I'm like, that's a bad idea. And ever since then, it's become his freaking logo. And obviously, he's been propelled to superstardom. And on top of that, he's been in several films. So what the hell do I know? That being said, Dominik got the win with some underhanded tactics. Rusev had the accolade on Penta. Thought he won because he heard the ring bell, but it was actually Dominik who rang the ring bell. And then he came in to hit the frog splash. I believe Penta tried to hit, hit Rusev, or I'm sorry, he tried to hit Dominik with whatever you call that thing that where you hit the bell. And then he accidentally hit Rusev. Dominik took them both out, hit the frog splash, got the pin. There is a part of me that would like to have seen Penta win. I feel like he's kind of hit like a certain level in WWE, and he's very over. But he's one of those guys to me that's very popular, that could be a huge merch seller, that has star written all over him, and just to keep holding him back to a certain level. And I don't know, at some point, I think the guy needs to break through. Maybe they're waiting for him to reunite with his brother Ray Phoenix and, go on a great tag team run. But I thought this would have been a good opportunity to have him win the title again. You can still have Dominik regain the title, but I just think you need to put some faith in your mid carders so people believe that they can actually win. That's kind of one of the things with Triple H's WWE that I've actually liked. A lot of criticisms of Triple H lately was booking or lack of creativity, but I will say that he has been really good at times when it comes to doing these kind of title switches, big wins that you wouldn't expect in a Vince McMahon era. So, like, for example, like Ilya Dragunov. And if I understand, Sami Zayn actually wanted to put him over, but still, the fact that they went with that is awesome. I mean, Sami Zayn, beating Solo. Jacob Fatu going all the way being LA Knight. LA Knight, winning the US title. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they've been better at pulling the trigger with certain people in recent years. Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley, for the title. I believe it was earlier this year. So, yeah, it would have been nice to see Penta finally get that win. Hey, maybe he will. There's still time, but I don't know. I feel like he can only beat a guy so much before fans lose faith in him and don't believe he can actually win. And then finally, our main event, which was not a lame event. Jey Uso, CM Punk. Fantastic match. One of the best matches Jey Uso has had in a long time, other than with Gunther. And there was some miscommunication. I believe it was like a neck breaker spot where CM Punk was going for a neck breaker on Jey. And Jey, I don't want to say he didn't bump, but he kind of didn't. He was bumping like the honky tonk man for a second. Present day honky tonk man. I'm like, bro, come on, man. But other than that, great match. CM Punk had to hit 2 go to sleeps GTSs to get the clean pin, did the fireworks show and everything. Jade also got the fireworks show. And yeah, it was interesting. Couple of observations. One, you had Jey Uso looking at CM Punk celebrating with the pyro. So who knows if they're going to proceed with Jey being a heel, which to me, I think is stupid. Like, the guy hit the lottery with this gimmick, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you like his wrestling or you think he sucks or not. He hit the lottery with this gimmick. He could do his gimmick the rest of his life and just make lots of money and get great reactions. He does not need to turn heel right now. I respect him for proceeding with this because it is a big creative risk if he actually does want to do this. But I personally think he should just stick with what works. And then I also noticed that his gear didn't really look like gear. So I don't know if the poor guy lost his luggage or something in Salt Lake City, but hey, it worked out. He got the win. And well, he didn't get the win, but he did win over the fans with a great match. And we will see what happens next. And yeah, I know there are some people that are gonna say, well, it might have been more intriguing if Jey Uso won, and what if Jey Uso turns heel and you do this thing with the bloodline. I just think the bloodline at this point is a dead horse. Even with like Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns down the road. Like, I'm not saying it won't be a great match and it won't have some nostalgia with the Shield and everything, but I don't know, man. Time and place. We've gone through this over and over and over and over and over again with the Shield, the bloodline, Shield, bloodline. It's kind of getting old at this point. But hey, the good news is for fans that want to see something different is that Seth Rollins is probably going to do something with Bron Breakker come WrestleMania if he's going to be available at WrestleMania or after WrestleMania. And, from there, they can hold off the Roman Reigns Seth match to maybe another WrestleMania, which is still hard to think about. I mean, think about this. I think Seth is 40 or almost 40, and Roman Reigns is over 40, I believe. So by the time they actually do that match at WrestleMania, which is crazy to think it was never a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, those guys will be in their 40s. Just wild. Still a shame to this day. One of the biggest creative crimes of Vince McMahon. Forget his real life stuff. That guy belongs under a jail. But in terms of creative crimes, one of the biggest creative crimes this McMahon committed was not booking the Shield triple threat for WrestleMania either in 2016 or 2017. Absolutely inexplicable. The fact that he booked on a random pay-per-view Battleground 2016. Just insane. Same thing with the Four Horsewomen. The idea that he never did, the idea that they had to wait till acquiring Ronda Rousey in order to even freaking do a damn, and I just saw a deer and it's staring at me, so I'm walking away now. But the idea that they had to wait until Ronda Rousey was signed in order to do a women's main event at WrestleMania when they could have done it with the Four Horsewomen years before. Just crazy. Just crazy. But anyway, what can you say? In terms of quality, I give Saturday's main event a thumbs up, but in terms of judging it from the scale of a Saturday night's main event of previous years or even previous months /PLEs, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down, because of the fact that this did lack the pizzazz. This did lack the presentation. Yes, the matches were big. Yes, the stars were big. Yes, there were 2 title changes, which is very big. But I just feel like if you're a fan, like, let's just say you don't care about baseball and other sports, right? And you're primarily watching this, like, you got 4 matches in what should be like a pay-per-view PLE caliber card. I think for the fans in attendance, like, they should have gotten at least a dark match. And the fact that WWE's not even really willing to do like a lot of stuff after the shows like they used to or before the shows is kind of lame in my opinion. Maybe they did, but I know with their pay-per-views, they don't even put pre-show matches anymore, or kickoff matches as they used to call them, which just to me makes absolutely no sense. Like, don't you want to give your fans the money's worth? Well, I don't know if TKO really does, but you know what I'm saying. It's just not a good look there. And then just, the pageantry. No Jesse Ventura, no legends. Okay, William Garcia used like that old microphone that came from the ceiling to announce the world title introductions. But for the most part, not a lot of nostalgia infused or anything else. I thought they could have done a lot better with these presentations and everything. Again, the matches were good. I thought the two men's world title matches were great. I thought the women's match was fine and served its purpose. The IC title match was very cleverly outlined, especially with that Dominik ring bell spot and everything. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like they could have added one more match. I feel like they could have added a little more pizzazz, especially for fans in attendance. And yeah, I know people will clown the fans and be like, "Oh, well, just don't buy tickets." But listen, man. I know WWE's doing a lot of crappy things politically and everything else, but at the end of the day, wrestling is an escape for a lot of people. And sometimes you just want to take your kids or to a show or go out or save up or whatever. I mean, it's like any other sport or entertainment. It's their escape, and it's just kind of a shame that people are getting priced out, and if they are actually still able to attend the shows, getting kind of ripped off. I don't think I'd say that normally in normal circumstances that fans got ripped off for seeing 2 world titles change hands and 4 title matches overall, but I don't know. I think they could have given fans something else. Maybe at least give them like a battle royal or something like before the show. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, say what you want about AEW, and look, their shows tend to go too long at times, and sometimes the booking can be all over the place. But you can never say that Tony Khan doesn't load up those shows and try to give fans their money's worth, whether or not they see some of those wrestlers as stars. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see like the different spectrums, right? JB goes in one opposite way, or one way where it's like, okay, 4 matches or a 5-match PLE, and then AEW's like, nope, we're gonna load up these shows like crazy. So is what it is. Anyway, overall, I gotta say, just as a Peacock viewer, while also watching an incredible World Series Game 7, I gotta give it a thumbs up there. And I'm excited. Look, I grew up a CM Punk fan. I'm a lifelong CM Punk fan. So as a fan, I am happy to see CM Punk as world champion. That being said, I have absolutely no idea where they go from here. You know what I mean? If you want to wait for Bron Breakker to win the world title down the road, I guess you could have CM Punk reign supreme for a few months. I honestly wouldn't even be opposed to giving Bron Breakker the title next. Have him beat CM Punk either, if not Survivor Series at Royal Rumble, or hell, if you want to be a good partner with Netflix, who's put a lot of resources behind you, maybe even have Bron Breakker win the title on Raw, and then have Bron Breakker go into WrestleMania as world champion against Roman Reigns. That'd be a hell of a match to me. I'd be down with that. I don't think I'd want Roman to win, but you can do that. You can have Braun going as champion. I guess I could always do a triple threat or fatal 4-way, but I feel like I've just seen even though the multi-person matches with WWE have been really good this year, I'm done. Let's get some one-on-one matches back in the fold for sure, especially around WrestleMania time. But I'll hear from y'all. What do you think about Saturday's main event? What do you think about the upcoming world title picture? Who the hell is next? Because man, they are lacking some depth. Oh, actually, one more thing before I go. Completely forgot. John Cena announced, as originally reported by the Wrestling Observer, that there will be a tournament to determine who his final opponent will be in December in Washington, D.C. And it'll include people from Raw, SmackDown, and even people that aren't with the company, allegedly. I personally would love it to be Obafemi. Strap the rocket to the guy. But I think more than likely, it's probably going to be Gunther, which isn't bad. You know what I mean? Gunther's a great wrestler, and he's a Hall of Fame level talent, but I don't know. I guess you got to keep the gimmick of retiring guys. You retired Goldberg. You could retire John Cena next, but I don't know. They really have an opportunity to elevate some guys. They had an opportunity with the Battle Royal on Raw the other night. They have an opportunity with this tournament, but I feel like they're just going to lean on another guy who isn't all that young. Hey, Gunther's great. He's still in his prime. But come on, man. I would still like to see Obafemi get called up. I think that's what I would personally like to see. Have Obafemi get called up and have him either at some point destroy Cody Rhodes and or CM Punk and make him your next big star. I'd also call up Trick Williams and elevate him since he's like currently the super senior of NXT. Ridiculous that guy's not being called up. I think that's the other thing too that pisses me off. I think Shawn Michaels is doing overall the best he can in NXT. And, even if I don't agree with all the things creatively, I got to give him credit where credit's due. He has an incredibly diverse roster that he uses, and he's not afraid to, mix in the veterans or the young guys and try new things and everything else. And I just feel like that hasn't been really reflected in the main roster. It's almost like a reverse of what Triple H was doing 10 years ago with NXT. And Vince McMahon, being stuck in his ways and Triple H being innovative, or at the very least being innovative enough to copy Ring of Honor. So we shall see what happens. I want to hear from you. What do y'all think about the current state of WWE? What would you like me to cover next? Until next time, everybody, take care, like and share. And as always, enjoy the matches and stay safe.